Hello and welcome to Catholic Charities Nutrition Annual Training for 2025. We are so excited to roll out this new format of training for you all. Today we will be covering the topics of back to basics, so just going back to step 1, covering all the requirements from us and from you guys as providers. We are very excited as this is going to be a whole new way and format of training, so just be expecting that the quiz and questions will be in the actual PowerPoint itself, and at the end you will have a small little quiz. I think it's going to be about 5 questions, nothing more. And it's just going to be referring to the Meet Me slides, so you guys will get to know a little bit more about us, your monitors, who works in the nutrition team, and it'll just be questions regarding that, but you will also have questions here in the actual presentation about nutrition, of course. So come along with me as we roll through this new training. Okay, and jumping into our first Meet Me slide, let's go ahead and meet Mirella. Mirella is our Wenatchee-based monitor. She has been with our agency for over a year. When she's not out traveling for work, she is being the coolest auntie to her 2 nephews and 1 niece, embracing family time. She also enjoys live music, basking in the sunshine by the water, and new coffee shops. There is some quiz-related info here. Just be mindful. And we'll go ahead and jump into our first pop quiz. So just be mindful every time there is a Meet Me slide or any question pertaining to any information on the slides, this is what the pop quizzes will look like. So we'll go ahead and go through this first one. How many nieces and nephews does Mirella have? A, 2 nieces and 1 nephew. B, 1 niece, 1 nephew. C, 2 nephews and 1 niece. Okay, and that answer is going to be C, 2 nephews and 1 niece. Daily record keeping. So these are going to be the 3 key points in any visit or just in general for our program. It is attendance, menu, and meal counts. So just be mindful that you are either maintaining your records on paper or in KidKare, however your practice is. Best practice is always going to be maintaining that daily, because once you do fall behind, it is extremely difficult to get out of that. So 3 key points: attendance, menu, and meal counts. Missing any one of these 3 will result in a loss of reimbursement for those meals. Pop quiz time. What are the 3 main daily records? Okay, and the answer is going to be menu, attendance, and meal count. And a little bit more in depth about each of the topics. First, starting with attendance. Attendance records must be recorded on a daily basis. Child in and out times must be recorded for all children, including the provider's own children under the age of 13. Attendance records that have not been recorded will result in a loss of meal reimbursement. Menu. Accurately record the foods served for each meal claimed. Menus must include all components served, including the milk. Clearly mark the whole grains served on the posted menu and on KidKare. Menus that have not been recorded will result in a loss of meal reimbursement. Meal counts. Keep an accurate record of which meals were served to each child. Point of service or taking the meal count while the meal is being served is best practice. Meal counts that have not been recorded by the end of the day will result in a loss of meal reimbursement. This is super crucial, especially when you are handwriting your records. Be mindful to always have meal counts. However you want to get creative with it, we just need to know which meals each child ate so that we can keep an accurate record of that. Pop quiz! What is the best practice for taking meal counts? A, during the weekend. B, point of service. C, the next day. Answer is B, point of service. That is going to be the best and most accurate way so that you are positive you served that meal to those exact children. Let's dig a little bit deeper into record keeping. These are going to be more or less the monthly duties. So all children, including infants, own children, and anyone under the age of 13 living in the daycare home must be enrolled in the program. Enrollments must be sent no later than the 5th day of the following month when the child started. Parent signature dates must be dated within the same month of the child enrollment date. Failure to date within the same month will result in a disallowance of meals claimed prior to the day written by the parent. Send an updated license to the offices. Send in income eligibility forms promptly when, if you receive them in the mail. Failure to do so will result in meal disallowance for own children's meals. Touching bases on our record keeping for our yearly duties. So re-enrollment is completed every May without fail. Re-enrollment packets must be returned to the office either by mail or email no later than May 31st. Parents must sign and date within the month of May. Any child missing a signature date or incorrect date not in May will be removed. Yearly applications are sent out every July without fail. Yearly applications must be turned in by the given deadline, either by mail or email. Failure to return the applications by the deadline will result in a termination from the program, effective October. If you wish to return, we will have to complete the full in-person sign-up before you're allowed to claim meals again. Annual training is done typically every August or September of each year. You must complete annual training to stay in compliance with the program rules. Failure to complete annual training by the given deadline will result in automatic serious deficiency. If training is not completed by the following year, then you will be proposed to term. Be mindful for record retention policies. We must maintain records for 3 years plus the current fiscal year. Okay, let's go ahead and meet a monitor. Right now we are going to be meeting Lucero. Lucero is our lead monitor, overseeing the Vancouver home daycares and our centers. She has been an integral part of the program for 4.5 years. When she is not working, she is a devoted cat mom to her 2 kitties, Coco and Quincy Jones. You can often find her snuggled up in a good book or on her Kindle, lost in another world. This is some quiz related information, so just be mindful of those 2 points. Guys may be picking up on our pattern here. Another pop quiz. What are the names of Lucero's kitties? A, Jack and Jill. B, Coco and Quincy Jones. C, Nacho and Esqueleto. Answer is B, Coco and Quincy Jones. Pop quiz! How often does annual re-enrollment happen and when is the due date? Answer: once a year in May with a due date of May 30th. Please, please, please be mindful that this happens every single year without fail. If you do not receive that packet in the mail, give the office a call. We can get that out to you so that you don't lose any of your kiddos. Go ahead and change the topic here. So now we're going to be covering what to expect in a monitor visit. Every fiscal year, 3 visits will be conducted, 1 announced and 2 announced visits. We will look at your current month records, menus, meal counts, and attendance. If a provider is not home but an assistant is present, the visit will be conducted. It is crucial that the assistants are aware where the records are if the provider is not present. You will be told what meal will be reviewed if you are having a meal reviewed. We will observe the cleanliness of the food preparation area and if children wash their hands. Meal pattern expectations. This is the meal pattern that you should be following at all times for each and every single meal or snack that you're claiming. This is the meal pattern that we will be following during a monitor visit. So for breakfast, there should be 3 components: the milk, vegetable, fruit, or both, and a grain. Meat and meat alternatives may be served in place of an entire grain component at breakfast a maximum of 3 times per week. So if you want to switch out that grain for a meat alternative, you can 3 times a week. For lunch and supper, it is required that you serve all 5 components: milk, vegetable, fruit, meat alternative, and a grain. And for snack, you can select any 2 of the 5 components. However, you can never serve 2 liquids at a time. So for instance, no milk and no juice for a snack, that wouldn't be a reimbursable, that wouldn't be 2 components that you could serve at the same time. Continuing on, what to expect in a monitor visit. Posted menus. Providers must have a menu that is displayed for anyone entering the home to view. All components must be listed and the whole grain must be marked. Please make sure that you are labeling your milk as well. For instance, milk 1% and whole, whatever you are offering for your selected age groups. Providers must have whole grain labels on file or stored. Monitors will verify if foods are whole grain. If the provider does not have the stored whole grain labels, the provider will receive a corrective action. When we are conducting a monitor visit, we are checking to make sure you are within your license capacity. If you are over your license capacity, we will need to contact the CPS intake line to report this, so please stay within your license capacity. Dinner and weekend reviews will always be announced. If you serve dinners or claim meals on weekends, you must notify the office. You will not be serving those meals prior to those meals. If we attempt these visits twice and you have no children in care or are closed, you could be suspended from claiming either weekends or dinners for 6 months due to failure to inform. So just be mindful. You can send over an email, leave us a voicemail, whatever it may be, but please stay in communication with us. Pop quiz. What happens if you do not have your whole grain labels stored? Answer: corrective action will be given. Please keep those whole grain labels, save them however you may, just have them so we can verify that those items are whole grain. Continuing on, what to expect in the monitor visit. If the provider does not have the correct milk during a monitor visit, the meal will be disallowed. Just a few reminders here. Whole cow milk is for the age range of 1 to 2 years old. 1% or fat-free cow milk is 2 years and up. Doctor's notes must be on file for children drinking special milk such as almond milk. If there is no note on file for children drinking a special milk, then the child cannot have those meals reimbursed. The special dietary form, we would need that for milks such as almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk. The milk substitution form, that's the one that the doctor does not need to fill out. That would be goat's milk, soy milk, and lactate. During a monitor visit, if you are serving a homemade dish with 2 or more mixed components, just be mindful we will be asking for a standardized recipe. We will make sure that the totals offer the minimum serving sizes as required by the CACFP. If you do not want to write standardized recipes, you must not premix your components. As long as the components are separate, a recipe is not required. Again, here are some examples. The one on the left-hand side with the components all separate does not require a recipe. When you serve your kids, we are able to see the serving size for each separate component. The one on the right, where it's nice and mixed up, that one would require a recipe. We have absolutely no way of knowing the serving size for each component. Jumping into the infant meal forms, they must be on file for infants eating foods. It is only needed until the infant is 1 year old. If you need one, please contact the nutrition office. We will have that sent over. Just a few reminders when claiming infant foods. A bottle must be offered at every meal. Infant formula must be iron fortified. Infant feeding is on demand and has no schedule. All infants must be enrolled even if the provider is not claiming them. That is again towards your capacity, so anyone who is in your care, please be mindful they do need to be enrolled. If you are serving yogurt or cereal during a meal, monitors will check the label for sugar limits. Here are some examples of yogurts that meet the sugar limit. Even if yogurts and cereals have the WIC label, you must verify that they are within the sugar limit. So we have these few examples here: Chobani, Oikos, and Atilamuk. Yoplait is not a credible food. That is not one that we can accept. So just be mindful. You want to verify your sugar limits before serving or claiming. Another pop quiz. True or false? Cereals and yogurts do not have sugar limits. Answer is false. Cereal and yogurt have sugar limits. During a monitor visit, both items will need to be checked to ensure they are within the limits. Meal serving times. In order to make sure that your meals are reimbursable, please stay within the meal serving times. So for breakfast, that starts as early as 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Children must be present by 8:55 a.m. for that meal to be reimbursed. AM snack starts at 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. Children must be present for at least 5 minutes. Lunch begins at 10:45 to 1:30 p.m. The children must be present for at least 10 minutes and checked in the latest at 1:25. PM snack is from 2 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Children must be present again for 5 minutes. Dinner starts at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It cannot be served before 5 p.m. If you serve at 4:56, 4:57, anytime prior to 5 p.m., know that meal will be disallowed. The children must also be in care for 10 minutes. evening snack is from 7 p.m. to bedtime. Claim submission. Submitting your claim by the 5th of each month assures that you will receive your reimbursement in a timely manner. Your claim consists of 3 items listed in daily record keeping. When you submit your claim, you need to make sure that all supporting documentation is on file to support the claim. Current childcare license, enrollment forms, holiday confirmation forms signed by each parent, only for major holidays, must be sent before submitting your claim. So if you worked July 4th, we will need that holiday form sent in so that you can get that meal reimbursed. Medical statement to support special diets. Call the office to ensure that you have the correct medical statement. Once your claim is processed, an error report will be mailed to each one of you. Please, please, please open your mail. Make sure you read your error report and correct the mistakes you are making so that you can have those meals reimbursed. Reimbursement process. Meals will be reimbursed to the provider within 5 working days after Catholic Charities nutrition program receives payment from OSPI. Payments are issued on the last working day of each month. Meals will be reimbursed for the appropriate number of meals multiplied by the current reimbursement rate set by the USDA. Meals may be disallowed for reimbursement if the provider records are incomplete, inaccurate, or missing. Meals do not meet the CACFP meal pattern requirements. Meals are claimed in excess of the authorized license capacity. Meals that do not match with what the monitor viewed during the review. Reviews. Catholic Charities Childcare Nutrition is required by USDA to conduct at the least 3 reviews with providers within our fiscal year. Our fiscal year begins October 1 through September 30th. We must observe at least 1 main meal and a snack. 2 out of the 3 visits will be unannounced. Reviews may be conducted between 2 and 5 months, not to exceed 6 months. Extra unannounced visits may be required if a provider is claiming dinners and/or weekends. You may not always have the same person conducting your review, so please welcome all review specialists into your home. We will all have our Catholic Charities ID badge, so if you're unsure at any point in time, you may ask to see that. Dinner review. If a provider is claiming dinners on a regular basis, a review must be conducted for the meal. Providers are required to let the office know if they are not serving dinner on a regular night that they usually serve and claim. If we attempt 2 or more dinner visits and the provider is not home or is not serving and has not informed the office, the provider will receive a letter stating dinners will be revoked for 6 months. Back with another Meet Your Monitor. Meet Christy. Christy is our dedicated program manager with over 20 years within the agency. When she is not keeping our program together, you can catch Christy whipping up some amazing treats or having a ride in her side-by-side. There is more to Christy that meets the eye. Christy is a type 1 diabetic diagnosed at the age of 22, passionate about education and advocacy for diabetes type 1 awareness. There's some quiz question information there too, so just be mindful. Pop quiz. What age was Christy diagnosed with type 1 diabetes? A, 22 years old, B, 1 year old, C, 14 years old. Give you a few seconds here. A, 22 years old. Weekend reviews. If a provider is claiming weekends on a regular basis, at least 2 weekends in a month, A review must be conducted. The same rules apply as with dinners. The provider will receive a letter stating that claiming meals on weekends will be revoked for 6 months if we attempt 2 visits. Additional reviews may be required depending on the hours and meals a provider is claiming or because of deficiency. So just be mindful, it can be more than 3 visits just based on where you're at within the program. You may contact the office for closure times or schedule changes by phone at 509-965-7107. Make sure to leave a message if no answer or if we're closed. We will always get that back as long as we have documentation. Email. Please, please, please make sure you save this email. Whatever or whoever you send your documentation to or give us updates through, please make sure it is the nutrition email, and that is nutrition@catholiccharities.cw.org. I know we have great relationships with our monitors, and you have certain people that you send things to. However, not everyone is always in office, so best practice is always going to be sending it to that nutrition email so that we all get it and make sure that it is in at all times. Close dates in KidKare, go to calendar, select date, drag and drop the closed box. That will also be a form of communication. We can check your calendar to make sure if you were closed or if you have any upcoming closure dates so that we aren't out there bothering you when you're not working. School child information in KidKare. When a child is present during AM or lunch, make sure to click these 3 lines, which will give you the option to choose sick, no school, or present during the holiday. That is crucial information for when we have claims. If there is a child that is supposed to be in school and they are not, and there's no documentation as to why, that meal will be disallowed. So please make sure that you're communicating that as well. USDA is adamant that providers will follow the rules and regulations of the CACFP. Our food program specialists are required to report any deficiency for not following the rules and regulations of the program. In the past years, we have had several providers that were serious deficient, several that were proposed to term, and a few providers that were disqualified for the repeated offense. This year's percentage is higher than it has been in over the last 10 years. Please, please, please make sure you are keeping up with all program requirements. 1 to 4 days behind recording your meals, those meals will be deducted, and the days will be noted in your file. 5 days or more behind recording your meals, you will go straight to serious deficiency. A letter will be sent to you by certified mail. You must then write out a plan to keep your records up to date and always abide by that plan. You cannot fall behind again within a 2-year period, and if you are, a letter of proposed termination and disqualification from the program will follow. Those are the 2 most common reasons for deficiencies. The meals do not match the foods that were observed during a review. TA will be given and the meal will be disallowed. Children claimed doesn't match the children that were in care or observing during a review. TA will be given and child or children will be disallowed. Claiming children that are no longer in care, serious deficiency letter will be sent. Not serving 1% or non-fat milk. A TA will be given and meal will be disallowed. Not serving all the required components with the correct portion size. TA will be given and meal will be disallowed. Not home during regular business hours and office not informed. TA will be given and meal will be disallowed if during a meal time. So again, this is super crucial where you have communication with us. If there are some providers that like to have meals off of the their program, which is totally fine. You just need to let us know ahead of time as we do those unannounced visits. Please always keep your records up to date. We do not enjoy taking meals away from the providers. We want you guys to get the highest reimbursement possible. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out and we can clear up whatever needs to be clarified. quiz. What happens if we arrive and the provider falls behind 5 or more days? Just a few seconds here. Answer: the meals will be deducted for the missing days and placed into serious deficiency. Here are our new meal rates. This is effective as of 7/1/2025 to 6/30/2026. So for the meals, I'll start with tier 1. Breakfast is $1.70, lunch and dinner are $3.22, and snacks are now at 96 cents. For tier 2, breakfast is at 61 cents, lunch and dinner is at $1.94, and snacks are at 26 cents. The maximum amount of meals eligible for reimbursement within a 24-hour day, again, is 2 main meals and 1 snack, or 2 snacks and 1 main meal, depending on whatever it is you offer. That will be your reimbursement percentage. Income eligibilities. Income eligibilities are distributed once a year for providers who wish to claim their own children's meals or for providers trying to qualify for Tier 1 rates. Income statements must be returned by the last day of the month in which the new statement was issued. Please see the next slide for the new guidelines for income as of July 1, 2025. If you think you may qualify to claim your own children's meals, please call the office and we'll send out that form. Here are the income eligibility guidelines for reduced price meals, and this again is effective July 1 through June 30th. If you feel like you are within those income eligibility guidelines, give us a call. We'll have that income eligibility sent out. You can go ahead and review it. I'll give it a few moments. Okay. Household size changes. Any children under the age of 13 years living in your home must be considered your own, whether they are yours biologically or not. Example, any grandchildren moved in, nieces and nephews moved in, etc. You will have to enroll them and place them as your own as they do live in your home. In order to claim the children who live in your home, you must be income eligible. Please note, whether you are eligible to claim or not, you must still include them on your daily attendance. Call the office to notify us about any new children residing in your home. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cover our policies, that being proposed to terminate policy, appeal procedure, and transfer policy. Before we get into any more policies and procedures, let's go ahead and meet our monitor. Now we are meeting Rebecca. Rebecca is our Tri-Cities-based monitor and will be celebrating her 1-year anniversary within our program. As an Oregon-born native and PNW raised gal, Rebecca loves to travel and try new foods. She is happily married, recently celebrating her 3-year anniversary. There is some quiz-related info there, just an FYI. Before we get into any more policies and procedures, we're going to have another pop quiz. How many years has Rebecca been married? A, 22 years, B, 3 years, or C, 5 years? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. All right, the answer is B, 3 years. Pop quiz. What happens if you do not complete the training by the deadline? A. What deadline? B. You are given corrective action. Or C. Placed in serious deficiency. That answer is going to be C. If not completed by September 30th, 2025, you will be placed in serious deficiency and receive a corrective action plan. So just be mindful, you do need to have that training done by September 30th in order to not be placed in serious deficiency. As for termination of agreement for cause, a sponsoring organization, hereafter sponsor, must initiate action to terminate the agreement of a day care home. For cause and operation of child care food program, if the sponsor determines a provider has committed one or more serious deficiencies listed below upon making a serious deficiency determination, if the provider does not take action to fully permanently correct the serious deficiency within the allotted time, the provider's agreement must be terminated. And I'll just go through really quickly of what the list of serious deficiencies are. Submission of false information on the application, submission of false claims for reimbursement, simultaneous participation under more than one sponsoring organization, non-compliance within the program meal pattern, failure to keep records, conduct or conditions that threaten the health or safety of children in care or the public health or safety, a determination that the provider has been convicted of any activity that occurred during the past 7 years and that indicated a lack of business integrity. A lack of business integrity includes fraud, antitrust violations, embezzlement, theft, forgery, bribery, falsification, or destruction of records, making false statements, receiving stolen property, making false claims, obstruction of justice, or any other activity indicating lack of business integrity as defined by the state agency, or the concealment of such conviction. Failure to participate in training, any other circumstance related to non-performance under the sponsor-provider agreement as specified by the sponsor or the state agency. This may include, but not limited to, continuous submission of late and or incomplete claims for reimbursement and or failure to comply with the civil rights laws. Appeal, if you do fall into that unfortunate circumstance of serious deficiency or proposed to term, it is highly recommended that you do appeal, as if you do not, you will fall into a ban from any other USDA program for 7 years. So just be mindful that if you are again placed in any serious deficiency or proposed to term, always appeal. We can assist you with that. If you have any questions, here's what the appeal policy looks like. I'll give it a few moments so you guys can go over it. This is our transfer policy. If you are needing to transfer to a different program, you can request this form or give us a call and we can assist you with that as well. Catholic Charities Civil Rights Policy. Catholic Charities Child Care Nutrition Program and its employees will ensure every customer will be treated fairly, equally, with dignity and respect. There will be no exceptions or excuses. We have a moral and legal obligation to treat our customers with respect and courtesy, regardless of race, color, national origin, gender, religion, age, disability, political belief, sexual orientation, marital or family status. All employees of Catholic Charities Child Care Nutrition Program must commit to uphold this policy. Our Board of Directors and Executive Director will comply with or adopt USDA's civil rights policy at Catholic Charities Child Care Nutrition Program. Refusal of any kind against customers will not be tolerated. Each of us must demonstrate a commitment to equal treatment for all individuals. Any and all complaints should be forwarded to the Executive Director and/or the USDA. A complaint form will be filled out at the time of the complaint by the Executive Director or customer with complaint. A copy of the complaint form will be forwarded to the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction. An internal discussion will take place with the Board of Directors, employee, and Executive Director to allow the employee in question to give his or her version of the reported incident to the board. The Board of Directors will have the final decision of the disciplinary action for the employee, if found to be in the wrong. Okay, another round of Meet Your Monitor. Meet Selena. Selena has been in the program nearing 2 years. You may have heard from her a time or two on the phone. After clocking out, she clocks in, chasing after her 2-year-old daughter, sharing her love for baking. As a licensed cosmetologist, she spends her free time outdoors with family, always ready with scissors in hand as everyone's personal stylist. Selena's specialty is lived-in blonding. There is a quiz reference there, so go ahead and remember that. Of course, there's another pop quiz. What is Selena's hairstyling specialty? A. Blonding. B. Men's cuts. C. Lived-in blonding. Few moments here. The answer is C. Lived-in blonding. Okay, so a little bit of a refresher on the civil rights that we just went over. Catholic Charities Child Care Nutrition Program providers will be treated fairly, absolutely no exceptions. The civil rights policy will be adopted by the Board of Directors, and complaints against employees will be addressed and resolved. Okay. Please keep in mind, if you have been issued a waiver and you have not sent it, please do so. We needed to ensure we are not taking away any extra children and you receive the correct reimbursement amount. If you had any changes to your license, please send us a copy via email or mail. And the best way to reach us is by email. Please, 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 again, save this email and make sure that you are sending everything that needs to be sent to us: income eligibilities, enrollment forms, close dates, whatever it may be. Send it to nutrition@catholiccharities.cw.org. If you have your phone or if you have your pocketbook, whatever it may be, where you have all your important information, please make sure you save that under the nutrition program, as that is, again, the best way to contact us. Communication is key. Please notify the office by email if you are closed, on vacation, or would like to be inactive. If you need some time, you need to be on hold for a little bit, just let us know. We can arrange that. Any school changes, those are very important to communicate as well. Adding menu comments for any school-age child you are claiming during a school day. For example, Maria didn't attend school today. It is a Friday because she is sick. You can just note that or add that onto the calendar. Make sure you are serving one whole grain rich item daily. Providers must click on the yes/no question. Is this a whole grain according to the meal? It is a requirement to serve one whole grain a day, and it is a requirement to keep those whole grain labels so we can verify if they are in fact a whole grain. Please verify in and outs before submitting your claim. This means to go through each day of the month to make sure each child has an in and out time. If you do not, that will result in a loss of meals. We want to make sure, again, you are getting the highest possible reimbursement pot. So go through and just check really quickly before you send over. Also, just want to give you all a thank you for all of the hard work and efforts in ensuring children are fed and happy. Couldn't have done it without you guys, and we're just extremely grateful. Pop quiz. Which email should all documentation be sent to? This one, let me give you guys a few seconds here. Super important one. All right, and that answer is nutrition@catholiccharities.cw.org. Again, please save this going forward and have everything that you need to send to us to this email. And that's it. Thank you for participating in our annual training. Please complete the quiz form to successfully complete the training. You must score 100%. Make sure you complete the training no later than September 15th of 2025. This quiz is your timestamp. You must answer all the questions to complete the training. Thank you all so much for another great year. Have a wonderful day. Please follow us on Facebook. Keep up with all the program updates, nutrition tips, and so much more. We'd love to interact and get to know our providers a little bit more as well. So go ahead and click the link below and follow us on Facebook. Thank you all.